Hello, I'm Alia. I would like to explain the purpose of the law of OSHA. Firstly, provide and maintain a safe, healthy, and hazard-free workplace. Employers are responsible for ensuring that the work environment is safe and healthy, free from any hazard or risk that could harm employees. These include regular assessment and mitigation of potential danger, maintaining equipment and facilities, and implementing safety protocols to prevent accidents. Secondly, ensure staff receive relevant information, training, and supervision to perform tasks safely. To maintain a safe workplace, it is essential that all staff are well informed and trained. Employers must provide comprehensive information, directives, and training programs to educate employees on safe work practices. Additionally, proper supervision should be in place to ensure that the tasks are performed correctly and safely. Thirdly, investigate incident and non-conformities to prevent recurrence. When incident, non-conformities, or dangerous events occur, it is crucial to conduct thorough investigation to identify their causes. This helps in understanding what went wrong and implementing corrective actions to prevent similar incidents in the future. Addressing occupational disease, poisoning, and other workplace-related health issues is also part of this responsibility. Fourthly, comply with customer, legal, and regulatory requirements under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. Employers must identify and adhere to all relevant legal requirements, including those stipulated in the OSHA and its regulation. Compliance with approved industrial codes of practices and customer-specific safety requirements is essential to ensure that workplace standards meet or exceed legal and industry expectations. Fifthly, promote and achieve safety and health objectives, procedures, and guidelines among workers. Promoting a culture of safety and health within the organization is key to achieving long-term safety goals. Employees should actively communicate and enforce safety procedures, rules, and guidelines, ensuring that all workers across the country are aware of and committed to maintaining high standards of occupational safety and health. Moving on to the employees under the scope of the law. First, general employees, which is office workers and service industry workers. Second, specific sectors covered due to high risk level. These include manufacturing, agriculture, maritime, and healthcare. Third, hazardous occupation that includes chemical handling, mining, heavy machinery operators, and electrical workers. Fourth, young workers, typically those under 18. Fifth, foreign workers that entitle the same protection as local workers. And last but not least, self-employed workers.
My name is Alisha Iqbal, and as of today, I'll be talking about employers' legal obligations under the law. As for the first obligation, which is ensuring the proper arrangements for the use, operation, handling, storage, and transport of plants and substances, it is very essential for maintaining safety, regulatory compliance, and operational efficiency across various industries. Equipment should be used and operated properly to ensure both efficiency and safety. Therefore, it involves complying with manufacturing instructions, doing routine maintenance, making sure users are suitably trained to minimize equipment lifespan and prevent accidents. Employers must enforce safety rules and hold employees accountable for complying with safety protocols to ensure a safe work environment. As for the second obligation, which is the provision of information, supervision, and training to guarantee employee safety, is crucial since it fulfills multiple essential functions that have a direct influence on persons and businesses. Workers that are well informed and trained are more conscious of safety procedures and potential hazards at work. They have the know-how and abilities to recognize possible hazards and implement the necessary precautions. By ensuring that safety protocols are followed, supervision lowers the risk of mishap, injuries, and occupational diseases. Organizations are required to comply with strict health and safety requirements in numerous countries. In order to ensure compliance with these regulations and prevent penalties and also legal liabilities that may result from non-compliance, it is very necessary to provide sufficient information, training, and monitoring. Next, maintaining the place of works and its entrances and exits is also essential because it directly impacts the safety, security, and operational efficiency of an organization. Proper maintenance ensures that the workplace environment is free from hazards that could cause accidents or injuries. This includes repairing flooring to prevent slips and falls, maintaining lighting for visibility, and ensuring clear pathway to exit in case of emergency. Well-maintained entrances and exits also facilitate safe evacuation during emergencies, such as fires or natural disasters. Lastly, providing adequate welfare facility for workers is also essential as it directly contributes to their well-being, health, productivity, and overall satisfaction. Adequate welfare facilities, such as clean toilets, hand washing facilities, and showers, where necessary, promote good hygiene practices among workers. This helps prevent the spread of infections and diseases in the workplace, contributing to a healthier workforce. Access to comfortable and well-maintained rest area, break rooms, and eating facilities improves workers' comfort and morale. It provides them with a space to relax, unwind, and recharge during breaks, and might as well enhance their overall job satisfaction and reduce stress level. Many jurisdictions have specific regulations that mandate employers to provide certain welfare facilities to employees. These regulations often cover aspects such as sanitation, drinking water, rest areas, and adequate ventilation. Compliance with these standards not only avoids legal repercussions but also demonstrates a commitment to ethical business practices. Moving on to employees' legal obligations under the law. The first obligation stated that the concept of taking reasonable care at work for the safety of yourself and others is fundamental to workplace safety. As OSHA General Duty Clause requires employers to provide a workplace free from recognized hazards that are causing or likely to cause death or serious physical harm to employees. Employees, in turn, are expected to comply with all OSHA standards and regulations applicable to their own actions and conduct. Each employee has a personal responsibility to take reasonable care for their own safety and safety of their co-workers. These include following safety procedures, using provided personal protective equipment, and reporting hazards or unsafe conditions to supervisor or safety officers. Failure to take reasonable care for safety can lead to disciplinary actions or legal consequences under OSHA. Employers must enforce safety rules and hold employees accountable for complying with safety protocols to ensure a safe working environment. Moving on to the next obligation, it affirms the rights of employees to report unsafe and unhelpful working conditions to the appropriate authorities within their organization. As reporting unsafe or unhelpful conditions help ensures compliance with occupational health and safety regulations and also standards set by regulatory bodies. Organizations are obligated to address reported concerns and maintain a safe working environment for their employees. It ensures that employees can speak out about hazards or conditions that pose risk to their safety or health without fear of retaliation. This promotes a proactive approach to identify and addressing workplace hazards promptly and might as well demonstrate that safety is prioritized and valued, encouraging everyone to contribute to maintaining a safe work environment. Next obligation emphasizes the responsibility of employees to use safety equipment, personal protective equipment, and other devices, and also procedures provided or directed by the agency for their protection. Using appropriate safety equipment and PPE is essential for protecting employees from workplace hazards and reducing the risk of injuries or illness. This includes items such as helmet, gloves, safety goggles, ear protection, and respiratory protection as required by the nature of work. Employees have a responsibility to follow agency guidelines and directives regarding safety equipment and PPE, as wearing appropriate PPE and using safety equipment not only protect physical health, but also contributes to overall well-being by reducing stress and anxiety related to workplace safety concerns. Adherence to these regulations help ensure legal compliance and avoid penalties for non-compliance. Lastly, Obligation 4 emphasizes the importance of compliance with workplace standards, rules, regulations, and orders issued by an employee agency. Each employee is individually responsible for understanding and following the standards, rules, regulations, and orders that pertain to their role and actions within their organization. This fosters accountability and ensures that employees are aware of their obligation to maintain compliance. Many of these standards and regulations are designed to promote workplace safety and protect employee health. Compliance helps create a safe working environment by addressing hazards, implementing safety protocols, and providing necessary training and resources. Failure to comply with these standards can lead to disciplinary actions, legal repercussions, or other consequences depending on the severity of the violation. Understanding and adhering to this guideline is therefore crucial for maintaining one's employment status and reputation within the organization.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Najib Najmi bin Raini. So, my part, I will talk about OSHA and DOSH statistic. First, we look at OSHA statistic. When we look at the table, blue dots, which is total recordable cases. This represents the overall rate of non-fatal work injuries and illnesses per 100 full-time workers. Next, we look at orange bars, which is cases involving days away from work, job restriction or transfer. This subset of the total recordable cases includes incidents severe enough to require days off work, job restriction or job transfer. And the last one for the green bars, which is other recordable cases. This includes less severe incidents that are still significant enough to be recorded but do not result in days away from work, job restriction or transfer. Okay, we look at the yearly analysis. 2018, the total recordable cases rate is just above 3.0 per 100 full-time workers. For 2019, there's a slight increase in the total recordable cases rate, maintaining a similar level as 2018. For 2020, the total recordable cases rate remains consistent with the previous 2 years. For 2021, the total recordable cases rate stays relatively steady with a slight fluctuation. And the last one, 2022, there is no significant change in the total recordable cases rate compared to the previous years. Okay. For the observations, the stability said that the total non-fatal work injury and illness rates have remained relatively stable over the 5-year period. For the proportion of cases, the proportion of cases involving days away from work, job restriction or transfer, which is at the orange bar, is consistent, indicating a stable severity level of work-related injuries and illnesses. And the last one is other recordable cases, which is the green bars, representing other recordable cases also show stability, indicating a consistent rate of less severe incidents. Next, we move to DOSH statistic. As you can see from the table, rate of occupational injuries. This column indicates the number of occupational injuries per 1,000 workers for each year. For the rate of fatal occupational injuries, this column indicates the number of fatal occupational injuries per 100,000 workers for each year. So we look for the yearly analysis. For rate of occupational injuries, the rate is not stable, which is there increase and decrease by each year. For rate of fatal occupational injuries, the rate is decreased by each year. Rate of occupational injuries, there is a general downward trend from 2014 to 2021, with the rate decreasing from 3.10 to 1.43 injuries per 1,000 workers. However, there is a slight increase in 2022 to 2.22 injuries per 1,000 workers. For rate of fatal occupational injuries, the rate of fatal occupational injuries shows some fluctuation, but generally trends downward from 4.2.1 fatalities per 100,000 workers in 2014 to 2.06 in 2022. A significant drop is observed from 2019, which is 3.83, to 2020, which is 2.09, and remains relatively stable around 2.00 fatalities per 100,000 workers in 2021 and 2022. So there is an improvement in safety. There has been an overall improvement in occupational safety, as evidenced by the decrease in both the rate of occupational injuries and the rate of fatal occupational injuries over the years. Next, recent increase in injuries. Despite the general downward trend, the increase in the rate of occupational injuries in 2022 may indicate new challenges or areas needing renewed focus on safety measures. And the last one is stable fatality rates. The relative stable fatality rates in the last 3 years, which is 2020 and 2022, suggests that measures taken to reduce fatal accidents have been somewhat effective, although continued efforts are needed to sustain and further reduce these rates. That's all for me. Thank you.
So I'm gonna start with the section 15, 1 and 2, general duties of employers and self-employed persons. So as for the section 15, 1, it shall be the duty of every employer and every self-employed person to ensure, so far as it's practicable, the safety, health, and the welfare at workplace of all his employees. Okay, moving on to the section 15.2, without prejudice the generality of substance 1, the matter to which the duty extend include in particular. These include providing the maintaining a safe working environment, ensure safe use, handling, storage and transport of substance and equipment, providing information, instruction, training and supervision, maintaining safe and engaged to the workplace, and preparing and revising emergency. Okay, for the second one is section 16, duty form, safety and health committees. So for section 16, except in such a case as may be prescribed, it shall be the duty of every employer and every self-employed person to prepare and as often as may be appropriate, revise a written statement of his general policy with respect to the safety and health at work of his employees, and the organizational and arrangement for the time being is forced to carry out the policy and bring the statement. So we are already at the last one is the section 17, 1 and 2 for general duty of employees. So for the section 17.1, it shall be the duty of every employer and every self-employed person to conduct his undertaking in such as a manner to ensure, so far as is practicable, that he and the other person not being his employees who may be affected thereby are not thereby exposed to risk to their safety and health. Okay, for 72, It shall be the duty of every employer and every self-employed person in the prescribed circumstance and its prescribed manner to give to person not being his employees who may be affected by manner which he conduct his undertaking. The prescribed information on such as aspect of the manner in which he conduct his undertaking as might affect their safety. And I think that's all from me. Thank you for listening. So we moving on to the next slide.